The whole village was sleeping when the scream came. It was loud, sharp, and full of terror. It came from the room where Nnenna and her new blind husband were spending their wedding night. When the elders broke down the door, what they saw made some of them drop their torches. "Let's roll." Nnenna was known in the village of Umuocha for her beauty. Every man wanted her, but she always said no. She didn't want to marry a poor farmer or a hunter with dust on his feet. She wanted comfort, money, and a soft life. When news spread that a rich blind man named Nnenna had returned to the village, people whispered. He had lived in the city for many years. No one knew much about him, only that he came back with bags of money and dark glasses covering his blind eyes. Nnenna sent elders to Nnenna's family to ask for her hand in marriage. People were shocked. A beautiful girl like Nnenna marry a blind man, they asked. But when Nnenna offered 10 cows, 10 bags of rice, and a chest full of gold coins, her poor parents said yes without thinking twice. At first, Nnenna refused. She laughed and said, "I can't marry a man who can't see me." But her mother pulled her aside and whispered, "You will suffer if you don't take this chance. Look around you, no one else has this kind of offer." Finally, Nnenna agreed but made her own secret plans. She told herself she would marry Nnenna, take his money, and find a way to live her real life elsewhere. She thought he would be easy to fool. After all, he was blind and quiet. Before the wedding, Nnenna asked to speak to her alone. He sat quietly, his head turned slightly, as if listening to sounds others couldn't hear. "Are you ready to be mine, Nnenna?" he asked in a calm voice. She smiled and lied, "Yes, I'm ready." The whole village came to see the strange wedding. The bride was smiling, dressed in fine beads and silk. The groom wore dark glasses and didn't say much. Drums played, and people danced, but many shook their heads. "This marriage will not end well," they whispered. That night, Nnenna walked into the large hut Nnenna had built for her. The bed was soft, and the air smelled of herbs and perfume. She sat down and waited for him. He's blind, she thought. This will be easy. Nnenna entered the room slowly. He didn't touch the walls to guide himself. He moved as if he could see. Nnenna watched him closely, confused. How did he do that, she wondered. He sat across from her and spoke softly. "Take off your beads," he said. She hesitated but obeyed. "You can't even see me," she laughed nervously. "Why does it matter?" Nnenna's face stayed calm. "I don't need eyes to know what's mine," he said. As the night went on, Nnenna spoke strange words she didn't understand. He touched her hand, and it felt like fire ran through her veins. Her body froze. She couldn't move. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. Then he whispered, "You married me for money. But I married you for something else." His voice was deep now, like two voices speaking at once. "Do you want to know what I really am, Nnenna?" She tried to scream, but her lips stayed sealed. Nnenna stood and walked to the window. He pulled off his glasses. His eyes were open, glowing like coals in a fire. "I see things others can't. I was never blind. I was only waiting for the right woman." Nnenna began to cry. She couldn't move, but tears ran down her face. Nnenna turned slowly, his glowing eyes fixed on her. "You chose this path. You wanted gold, not love. But gold has a price." Suddenly, the light in the room went out. The room became ice cold. Nnenna could feel something moving in the shadows. It wasn't Nnenna. It wasn't human. It crawled slowly, breathing loud and heavy. She couldn't see it, but she knew it was coming for her. Nnenna stood still by the window, watching. "This is the part of me no one sees," he said. "The city taught me many things, Nnenna. One of them is how to collect what people owe me." He walked over to her again, gently touched her forehead, and she could suddenly move. But she didn't run. Her legs were too weak. Her body trembled like dry leaves in the wind. "What are you?" she asked. Nnenna knelt beside her. "I'm the son of a man who lost everything because of beauty. My mother died crying because my father chose a woman like you. I learned that beauty can be deadly. So I found a way to own it." In the city, Nnenna had met a secret group. They were rich men who were once broken, just like him. They taught him how to gain power, how to see without eyes, how to bind people with touch. "I gave them something," he said. "And they gave me this gift." Nnenna's mouth dropped open. "What did you give them?" she whispered. Nnenna looked down. "My soul. And tonight, you must give yours too." Nnenna clapped his hands once. A box fell from the ceiling with a loud thud. It opened by itself. Inside was a mirror. Not an ordinary one, it reflected not her face, but her thoughts. She saw herself lying, planning to steal, planning to leave him. Nnenna looked away, ashamed. Nnenna forced her to look again. "This is my wedding gift to you. Truth. You hid your real self behind your smile. Now, the mirror shows who you really are." Suddenly, the mirror began to speak. It spoke in her voice, but said the thoughts she kept hidden. "I will take his money and leave in 2 months. He can't stop me. He's blind and stupid. I don't love him. I love his gold." She covered her ears, but the mirror got louder. The room echoed with her own wicked plans. Nnenna just watched quietly, as if this was a normal part of every wedding night. Then, Nnenna held a red thread in his hand. He walked around her, tying it in the air. Each loop made her body weaker. "With this thread," he said, "I bind your spirit to your greed. From now on, your beauty will rot if you ever lie again." Nnenna begged, "Please. I didn't know. I'm sorry. I'll change." Nnenna shook his head. The time for change was before the cows, before the rice, before the gold. That was when the scream came. It ripped out of Nnenna's throat like a wild animal trying to escape. The thread burned her skin, the mirror showed her turning old, ugly, broken. She screamed again and again, until the whole village heard. The elders came running. They broke the door down and rushed inside. But the room was quiet. Nnenna stood alone. Nnenna was on the floor, crying silently, her hair white, her skin dry and cracked like old clay. "Nnenna, what happened here?" the chief asked. Nnenna slowly put his glasses back on and said she saw herself for the first time. The chief looked confused. But she was the most beautiful girl in the village. Nnenna nodded. That was the problem. She was too used to using it like a weapon. "I only gave her what she came for, truth and wealth. But truth is heavy, and wealth has its rules." The elders looked at each other. Some thought Nnenna had used dark magic. Others thought Nnenna had gone mad. But no one could explain why her beauty had vanished in one night. Her skin, once smooth and glowing, now looked like it had aged 50 years. "Is this punishment?" one elder asked. "Or something worse?" Nnenna didn't answer. He simply helped Nnenna to her feet and led her back to the bed. She followed him, weak and silent, like someone who had died but was still walking. Days passed. Nnenna stopped speaking. She wouldn't eat. She didn't leave the hut. People came to see her, hoping the stories were false. But when they saw her face, they turned away quickly. The same mouths that once praised her now whispered, "Serves her right." Her parents came crying. "Please, Nnenna, fix our daughter," they begged. But Nnenna only replied, "Your daughter isn't broken. She was never whole to begin with." That night, Nnenna sat beside her again. She still wouldn't talk, but her eyes moved. He placed another mirror in front of her. This one was blank. This is your second chance, he said. You can fill this mirror with something better. Nnenna looked at him, confused. What do you want from me now? She finally whispered. Obinna smiled slightly. Not your body. Not your beauty. Just your truth. Nnenna cried hard that night. For the first time, she said the truth without pride. I've never loved anyone. Not even myself. I wanted money because I thought it would make me matter. I thought beauty was all I had. Obinna listened without interrupting. When she was done, he placed his hand on the mirror again. Her reflection slowly began to change. The old, cracked version faded. A plain, tired version remained, but it looked real, honest, and still alive. Rumors spread like wildfire. Some believed Obinna was a spirit. Others said he was cursed. The village became quiet when he passed, and children were told to look away. But no one dared confront him. One woman asked her friend, why didn't he just marry someone who loved him? The friend replied, maybe he wanted to teach someone what love really means. Maybe he loved her enough to break her. Weeks turned into months. Nnenna stayed indoors, avoiding mirrors, crowds, and sunlight. But slowly, her mind began to change. She started cleaning the hut, cooking, even planting herbs in the backyard. Her hands that once wore gold now touched soil. Obinna watched quietly. He didn't praise her. He didn't punish her. He simply lived beside her like a shadow that didn't judge. Every night, he would say just one thing, the mirror is still empty. One day, it will show something worth seeing. One evening, a group of young girls came to the hut. They had once idolized Nnenna. Now they were scared of her. But curiosity made them brave. Is it true you were cursed? One girl asked. Nnenna looked at them, then at her rough hands. She said, I wasn't cursed. I was shown my real self. It hurt because I didn't like what I saw. The girls sat quietly, not knowing how to respond. For the first time, they saw wisdom in her eyes instead of pride. That night, Obinna brought the blank mirror again. Nnenna didn't flinch this time. She touched it and looked into it with open eyes. This time, the mirror didn't scream or show ugly things. It showed her planting herbs, feeding a stray cat, helping an old woman cross the road. She gasped. Is that me? Obinna nodded. Yes. That is the version of you that cannot be taken away. It's the version I was waiting for. For the first time, Nnenna sat beside Obinna willingly. She asked him about his life in the city, about his past, about how he learned his powers. He told her bits and pieces, never the whole story, but it was enough. One night she asked, were you ever really blind? He smiled and replied, yes. But not in the way you think. I once believed power would heal pain. But now I know, healing begins when two broken people sit in silence and listen. Almost a year had passed. One night, Obinna and Nnenna sat together under the moon. There were no drums. No guests. No feast. Just the sound of crickets and wind. Tonight, Obinna said, we begin again. He took off his glasses and looked at her, not with glowing eyes, but gentle ones. The red thread from long ago floated in the air again. But this time, it wrapped around them both softly, like a promise. In the days that followed, villagers noticed something strange. Nnenna's skin, though still rough, began to glow softly. Not with the beauty of the past, but with peace. She no longer wore jewelry, but people said she looked more powerful now than ever before. Young women began to come to her for advice. Men stopped trying to flirt and started to respect her words. She spoke softly, but every word hit like a drum. People listened now, not because she was pretty, but because she was wise. Obinna rarely spoke of his secret group in the city. But one night, Nnenna asked again, Why did you really come back to this village? She said. He sighed and said, to see if pain can become love. To see if a broken mirror can still reflect light. She looked at him, truly looked at him, and asked, do you love me now? He smiled. I've always loved the part of you you were afraid to show. And now that it's here, I love you more. One morning, Nnenna woke up to find the mirror cracked in half. She ran to Nnenna in fear. Is this a sign? She asked. He looked at the mirror, then at her. Yes. But not a bad one. It means you no longer need it. She held the broken mirror in her hands, staring at her reflection. Half of it showed who she used to be. The other half showed who she had become. And for the first time, she smiled at both sides. One day, a man from Nnenna's past came to the village. He had once tried to marry her, but she had rejected him for being poor. He saw her now and laughed. So this is what beauty becomes? He mocked. Nnenna didn't reply. Nnenna stepped out of the hut and simply looked at the man. The man froze, eyes wide, then turned and walked away without another word. No one ever saw him again. The villagers now say Nnenna was never blind. Some say he was a spirit sent to teach the village a lesson. Others say he was just a man who understood pain better than most. But everyone agrees on one thing: Nnenna became something greater than a beautiful woman. She became a mirror, a living reminder that truth, once faced, can change everything. And Nnenna? He stayed by her side, not as her owner or punisher, but as her partner. And for the first time, they began something real. Years passed. Nnenna became a quiet force in the village. She didn't talk much, but when she did, everyone listened. She started teaching young girls. Not how to wear fine clothes or walk like queens, but how to see themselves before the world saw them. She told them about the mirror. About how beauty can hide a dangerous heart. Some cried. Some laughed. But none of them left her house unchanged. Every girl walked away touching her own chest like she had found something inside. One cold evening, Nnenna fell ill. He lay on the mat, sweating and shaking. Nnenna sat beside him, holding his hand. You can't leave now, she whispered. We just began. Nnenna smiled faintly. Everything has its time. I came to break a curse, and I broke it. Not just for you, for myself too. If I die tonight, I die in peace. Then he closed his eyes. But before sleep took him, he added, the mirror is yours now. That night, after every